Once more, welcome. This is lesson 3, in which we are going to talk about the properties of enzymes. You have to understand that we have talked about lesson 1 and lesson 2. We have talked about many things which you know now. We have talked about the activation energy in lesson 2, and we also explained what happens at the active side of an enzyme. But it is important that we understand these aspects in lesson 1 and 2 to now understand the properties of enzymes. Lesson 3 is based only on the properties of enzymes. When we talk of properties, here we are talking about the things that are involved in all the activities carried out by enzymes. So we are going to look at each and throw some light on each aspect of the properties of enzymes. The first properties we have is that enzymes are globular proteins. And we know that they are proteins because they are coded for by DNA. Enzymes are proteins and they are coded for by DNA, they are globular proteins. But I would like to remind students here that all enzymes are proteins, but all proteins are not enzymes, because it is good for you to understand this, that all enzymes are proteins, but all proteins are not enzymes. So, since enzymes are proteins, it means that the effect that proteins undergo, enzymes also do undergo those same effects. Therefore, if something affects the activities of proteins, it therefore can affect the activities of enzymes. The next property is enzymes are reversible in their reaction. They are reversible. And here you have to understand it in this way. If an enzyme is catalyzing a reaction from A to B, it can equally catalyze that reaction from B to A. That is what makes it reversible. Let me take a more concrete example. The breakdown or the oxidation of a glucose molecule in the process of respiration leads to the production of carbon dioxide, water, and energy that is released. You now see that that is the breakdown of the molecule or a molecule of glucose, which is respiration. This reaction is reversible because if you now take carbon dioxide and water, you will now lead to the formation of carbohydrate, which is glucose, with the release of oxygen. And this process is photosynthesis, which is the combination of carbon dioxide, water, to lead or to yield carbohydrate, which is glucose, and with the release of oxygen. Another property is that enzymes, they act as biological catalysts. I will not emphasize any longer on this one because we have had it in the first lesson when we talked about the definition of enzymes, that enzymes are biological catalysts. The next property, they are very efficient in their activities. They are very efficient in their activities. It means that enzyme catalyzed reactions are very specific and are carried out efficiently. Because the appropriate results are obtained at the end of each enzyme catalyzed reaction. The next, enzymes are highly specific. I will not spend much time on this particular property because we have had to discuss it in lesson 2 as a heading on its own, showing how enzymes are specific in the reaction they carry. I said, using examples there, that, for example, the enzyme amylase can only catalyze the conversion of starch to maltose, while the enzyme maltase can only catalyze the conversion of maltose to 2 glucose molecules. So that shows the specificity of the enzyme. The next is the activities of enzymes are affected by the pH, the temperature, the substrate, and enzyme concentrations. So, though enzymes are carrying out their activities normally, there are some factors that can affect their activities, that can slow down their activities, that can change the structure of their shape. And these factors are the ones that we have just listed. We have the pH, the temperature, the substrate, and the enzyme concentrations. There are many others, but these are the main ones. Next property, enzymes lower the activation energy of the reaction they catalyze. Again, this was well explained, and I know you all know already what is meant by an activation energy and how this activation energy is lowered by enzymes. So the next property is that they have active sites where reactions take place. Enzymes have active sites where reactions take place. We have already explained this so well in the previous lessons, and we know what is an active site, and we know exactly what happens at the active site of an enzyme. So, looking at these properties, we now may be able to really understand how enzymes do carry out their reactions. These properties are developed in some of the topics already treated in lesson 1 and 2, and more of it will be treated in subsequent lessons, where each will be explained to the fullest, to the understanding of you all students. That is why I decided to treat these properties separately, so that you understand them very well, because you can easily be asked the properties of enzymes in any examination, and you should be able to align them and explain them fully, because to some extent it is good to understand questions. You may be asked to state the properties of enzymes. You may be asked to align the properties of enzymes. You may also be asked to state and explain the properties of enzymes. So you should also be very careful in interpreting questions here, because when you are asked to state, just state. When you are asked to align, just align. When you are asked to list, just list. But when you are asked to state and explain, it means immediately you state the property, you now have to explain how that property is carried out by the enzyme concerned. And if you do that, you now will have a good mastery of this chapter, and to also know how enzymes carry out their activities, their shapes, and how they intervene in all aspects of metabolic activities in the body carried out by cells, tissues, and many other organs in the body. So we shall end here with this particular lesson, which is very strategic for subsequent lessons, and we just pray that you understand each property and try to apply it very well in every aspect of enzyme reactions. Thank you.